Hi, welcome to Debrief.ai. My name is Thibaut Imbert, and I'm the Chief Product and Growth Officer here at Debrief. Debrief was built by marketers for marketers to help you accelerate your campaign lifecycle process. What we've observed is that all marketing teams really function as a loop, where the team has to ideate, understand what works and how to beat their competitors. Then they have to create assets, sometimes and very often in high volume, different resolutions and sizes across all channels. Then they need to publish these ads across all the different platforms, and then they need to report on these campaigns. I have been a marketer. I know the work that it is to do that all the time. More channels, more variations, more sizes, more customers, more demand, and it's just a lot. And so what we thought, can we actually create a product that functions as a loop, that understands marketers and really uses AI to accelerate the productivity across each aspect of that loop? So that's why we built Debrief. Debrief, and I'm going to show you that in a second, is organized around 4 agents. We call them the 4 agents of the product or the 4 experiences. But really what they are is there are 4 different experiences in the product that you can use to accelerate your productivity as a marketing organization. So we're now here in Create, and in the Create experience, this is where we're going to be creating our content, our ads. You can see on the left nav, you've got the home, you've got creatives. Creatives is where you have your projects that you've created. You have your brand kit, the brand templates that you could create to make sure that you create content and your team creates ads and content sticking to a specific template. You have the templates library. One of the things that's pretty awesome with Debrief is that we have ad sets. So you can, from one project, have all the different sizes included, so you can get started from that. And then here, the projects that were shared with you or your team. I'm gonna go back here, and here at the top, you can see we have the chat, and we're gonna go into detail about how you can use that in a few minutes, but you can start and create from AI. When you select the chat, you lead with AI, and the entire interface leads with AI and prompts. When you deselect that, you can also use the more traditional method using templates. You can start from a PSD. We have now support for Figma. You can also generate from a URL, which is pretty awesome if you have a website, e-commerce, like a Shopify website or any website, and you want to generate ads directly from the URL, or start from a template. I have here below my recent chats from my history from the Create agent. When I open them, I can go back to my conversations and find my assets that were generated. I can also here find the projects that I opened, and all of them are here available as a quick shortcut. I have my prompt ideas. This is automatically going to fill the chat. So if I select something, like here this example, it's going to go back up and automatically fill the chat, and I can get started from this. We're not going to do that for now, and we're going to keep scrolling. And here at the bottom, I have my templates. Like I said, you can lead with AI, but you can also start from a template in Debrief. So we're going to cover all the different ways you can create content. And so what we're going to do, we're going to start from mood board. So let's do that. You can here create new assets based on assets that you have on your canvas. For instance, if I wanted to create a model, like let's say a person wearing these clothes, I could do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this, and here in the AI assistant, I will say, have a 30-year-old woman wear these on a white background. So let's do that. I'm actually going to enhance the prompt, and now let's generate. So now I have my images that are being generated, and you can see that the quality is pretty amazing. I was able in a few seconds to go from something like this to these images. How awesome is that? Now I can use that for, let's say, concepting and mood boarding, but I can also use that for production if I wanted. So what I can do from here is take these assets, save them, and if I use save to brand kit, it's going to be saved to my brand kit. And so when I'll go to the editor, I'll be able to create an ad from that. So you can use the mood board as a way for you to jam and create concepts, come with your team members in multiplayer and ideate on that and create all kinds of variations. And you can use them for really just concepting and mood boarding, but I suspect that many of you will want to just create directly assets that you use directly for production. What I can also do is, let's say, someone from the team has added another asset on the scene, such as this element here. I'm going to take this here, and let's say a team member says, well, what if we had one of these models wear these. It could be, let's say you work in e-commerce or you work for that brand and you want to combine these two. Instead of doing the photo shoot, you can just ask AI to create an image with that person wearing these elements. How do we do that? Well, it's very simple. I will just select here from the stage my elements here, the glasses, that image that combines these elements. I will select my image that I like. Let's say I want to apply and combine these two. And I can just say, have that person wear these. And I'm gonna generate now. And let's see what we can get from that. Okay, this is pretty incredible. At the speed of thought, I'm able to combine that image with those elements. Now you can see sometimes you might have some hallucination in this one. This one didn't work. We could just, do it again. So I can just delete that image. And now look at all these other images where I have my original image with the model wearing these elements. Now from here, what I can do, I can generate these assets and I can save them to my brand kit. So what I can do, I can just click on the image and go save to brand kit. Once I do that, I can go to the editor and start using them to create an ad. Now you can see here, we're starting the ad from the mood board where we're really kind of like vibing, ideating. Some teams might use that to just create concept and go from here. But I believe that some teams might actually go directly from this to production. And this is really, really, really enabling teams to move much faster. So what I can do now, I can go to the editor and let's say that I would want to create an ad from this. From the mood board, you're not able to add text on the design in the same way that you could do in an editor. You're not going to be able to really have the level of control and granularity that the editor provides. But what I can do, I can go here in the brand and I have my brand kit. All of the AI generated images that I saved from the mood board are now showing up here and I can create a design. So I have here some other images that I've generated in the past. Here's one that I really like. I can go into layers and I'm going to put that at the bottom. You can see you have access to the layers like you would do in any other advanced editing tool. And now I have something that starts to look really cool. This is actually a template that I use here and I changed my logo that's coming from my brand kit. All of our templates come with animations. So you can see that now I can see very quickly my ad coming to life. I was able to create that inside the mood board, but it could also just be an asset that's coming from a DAM like Google Drive, Dropbox, or any other sources, and it's stored and I can just upload and create my ad this way. One of the features that we are super proud of that is really, really helpful for a lot of marketers is the resize feature. So one of the things that creative teams have to do all the time is create assets at different sizes. You have to create a story format, you have to create a skyscraper, you have to create a square format. And to do that, we have here the sizes panel. When you do that, natively, we have all the sizes across the different channels. So you have social, display, and you can select, the different sizes. So let's say I want an Instagram post, I have already the story, and I'm gonna go in display, and let's say I wanna have a net board size. When you do that, what you can do is you can go and select AI resize. If you do that, what we do, automatically, we're gonna start generating a design at the right size. We're going to use AI to resize your asset and your elements at the right size. This is what I did here, where it has basically applied that to my design. You can see my design. And if you see at the bottom, same thing here. Now, what you can do, and what's really awesome with the brief, is that from there, you can preview in one click all the different sizes. You can see the animations, you can share that to colleagues and team members and even clients to make sure they review. And one thing that's really powerful where you can save a lot of time is that you have different modes. You have all layouts or square layouts or vertical layouts. So if you select square layout, it's only going to show you the square layouts. Same thing for vertical, where you can do all layouts. Now, what is the difference? When you select your elements at this level in all layouts mode, notice that when I select an element, it actually selects the object on all the different artboards, right? So if I select summer collection, notice that it's selected everywhere. Why do we do that? We do that because it allows you to make a change and reflect that change across all the sizes in one change. That is just so helpful. Like if you have created designs across multiple files in your life, you know how painful that is, that you have to replicate all these changes everywhere. Here, if I decided to change, let's say the date, free shipping until April 25th, the marketing team is telling me that this campaign is no longer ending on April 25th, but actually on the 30th. So if I'm gonna go here on the right panel and change to 30th, notice that it's updated automatically in all the variants or all the sizes, right? This is really, really powerful. Same thing here. If I wanted to change here the color and I wanted to make that color different, it would automatically change the color. Here you see my color palette, I'm using the color from the logo. Same thing, that change would be reflected everywhere immediately. Same thing for all the other changes that you would want to do, and that's going to help you save a ton of time. At any time, you can go to sizes and add more sizes, and if you uncheck, you will just disable that size and clean your canvas and removing the specific size. All right, so now what I want to show you is this example. Remember in the previous video, I showed you how from this cover, you're able to create your different images. And I had this example of this food delivery app, and I created some different images for potentially an ad showing different types of Indian food. What I did here is I saved that image into my brand kit, and now I have it in the editor, and I want to create an ad from it. Now you might be thinking, Thibaut, this design is not great because the text is overlapping. Well, guess what? The AI image capabilities that I showed you a few minutes ago are also available not just on the mood board, but also inside the editor. When I'm in the editor, I can select an image, and if I go to AI image, you can go and do different types of things, like you can generate a video from that image. We're going to look at that in a second. You could remove a background, you could remove an object, but you can also go to product photography that integrates the latest models such as Gemini 2.5 Flash, codename Nano Banana, or Flux.1 Context Max. And here what I could say, you know, remove the dishes from the right side of the image. When I do that, let's enhance the prompt and generate the images. It's going to generate images that are going to look like this. So let's actually remove this one and add this one. In a few seconds, instead of having to go and find the right image, the right stock image, I can just edit the image and make it look exactly the way I want. This is pretty awesome. Now, you can do all kinds of changes. If you wanted, you could add a mango lassi to that image. The possibilities are endless. We could spend an hour just on that, but let's move on and talk about other use cases. So now what I want to show you is how you can create things from the chat, and here we call it the create agent. So I have here another example. This is a brand kit for Mavis, a furniture brand, fake brand, just for the purpose of the demo. And what I want to do is I want to create something from the chat. So what are we going to do here is I'm going to ask to generate something for me. If you select the chat, you see that we're going into AI mode, and you see that the interface is getting filtered. You can see we only see the chat and then the prompt. This is because you're getting into AI mode. In this mode, we really want you to be focused. Okay, this is what you can do starting from AI. If you unselect that, you're going to see more of the traditional ways of generating or creating your design, importing a PSD, a Figma, or even starting from a template. You can see here all of the templates that we have. But with AI, what we wanted to do is accelerate the time to value. Can we reduce the time it takes to get to a result without having necessarily to go to the editor and do things manually? So we're introducing here 4 media types that you can generate with AI. You can use here the ad type, product photography, AI video, and UGC video. So we have historically, as the brief, been a product before that you might have known as Creatopy, and we've been historically focused on ads, and that's been really kind of like our key focus, and a lot of our customers have loved being able to do that in the product to create ads. But we understand that it's important for marketing teams to create more than just ads. Product photography is an important use case. If you have a website, let's say you're into e-commerce, you're an Amazon seller or you have a Shopify website, and you have a product catalog and you're spending a lot of time and budget and energy in doing photo shoots, we have something here amazing for you where AI is going to be able to generate backgrounds for you at the speed of thought. AI video, we're integrating Google Video 3 so you can express what you want to create as a video with a prompt, and we will create a high quality, stock quality video that fits exactly your requirements. Last but not least, we're also supporting UGC video. UGC for user generated content. These are the videos that you've seen on TikTok where these ads are user generated videos that have captions, considered sometimes more authentic and more genuine and very popular. We now let you also create such videos with the brief. So what I can do, I can upload here an image coming from my brand kit. I'm going to select this chair, and let's imagine I want to create an ad for that chair coming for a campaign. I want to promote that new collection. I'm going to say, put this chair in a cozy, modern living room. Automatically, you notice that it understands that I want to put this product into an environment, so it understands the intent, and we are in product photography mode. So I'm going to select Gemini 2.0 Flash. It's selected by default. Here I could select many variations. I'm going to actually ask for 4 different variations, and let's go. Now, the agent is going to use the model, come back with different variations, and I'm going to be able to jam with the agent and iterate. The agent is using different models behind the scenes, sometimes Black Forest Flux or sometimes Gemini 2.5 Flash if you specify, but also our own technology when it comes to generating something that's going to be fully editable in the editor. One of the things that's special with the brief is that not only it integrates the latest and best models to generate images, but it will generate something that is fully animated and editable in the editor, allowing you to do the tweaks and the edits and get the level of control that you want. Now, check this out. I've asked for 4 variations of my chair placed in a cozy modern living room setting. I can look at them. They all look really, really nice. Look at the quality. It has added here this element on the chair that really kind of like looks supernatural. I like this one as well, or this one. I really like this one, though it's covering the chair a little bit too much, but I like this one. So I'm going to pick this one, and what we can do is we can generate an ad from this. But I could also ask, because this is an agent and because it's using an LLM behind the scene, just like, you could do in ChatGPT, you can ask, it's for an ad for the US market. Which environment do you think would work best to promote this chair and make it really compelling to buy? And now the agent is coming back with some recommendation. It would be bright, inviting living room with modern yet cozy decor. And it tells me that US consumers respond well to aspirational, reliable spaces, open layouts, natural light, and a mix of comfort and style. Would you like to proceed with generating ad visuals using this environment? Yes, I'm gonna actually say, let's generate a new variation using your suggestion. Now, it's asking me for the channel. I'm going to say it's for Google Ads to drive sales. And I'd say, please use the copy, comfort, in style. Now, what we're doing here behind the scenes, we're going to find what is the best design that fits your brand using your brand kit details, that image, the channel that you've selected, the copy, and we're going to generate a design, an editable design. So here's what the agent comes back with. What I can do here is I can actually go and edit that. This is really cool. I can download or edit them. Notice that they're all animated out of the box. This is really, really cool. I really like this one, but I also tempted to use this one. I don't know which one you guys prefer, but I could actually come and edit in the Ad Studio. I'm gonna click on this one. And notice that this is fully editable. So here, this is text. Everything is using here my logo, the text. This is a CTA, and everything is editable. Here's some other examples that I've generated. This one or this one here, where I've actually asked to create more of a cozy vibe with some lights. I've added a little dog. All of that just using prompts. I could also create more. Here's another one it generated for Google Ads, where I have here some more sophisticated elements. It is really really amazing. Now, is this going to generate something that's like ready to be published? I mean, that's our goal. Now, with our test, we believe it's going to get you 90% there. And once you're here, you can actually just make the small tweaks that you want, such as the CTAs or some other details that maybe the agent simplified, and you can export that. Now, the thing that I want to show you is because you now have generated something that's fully editable in the editor, you are able to do all the things that you would do in the editor. So AI is really integrated and generating things that work natively with the rest of the platform. One of the things that's really powerful with the brief is that you can generate variations. To do that, you can use the feature called feed. And if I click on the feed, what I can do, I can select a product, I can select a feed. Here I have created some feeds as examples. And if I click on this one, what I can see is I have connected the feed feature to a spreadsheet. Now, the feed is a feature that allows you to create variations, and you can connect the feed to any endpoint that generates a CSV file. So think about it, product listing, like product catalogs, you might have a database. As long as your endpoint generates a CSV, it can be as simple as a spreadsheet with CSV export in the settings. You can then parse that, and automatically all the columns are going to show up here. So now let's imagine the inventory team is giving me access to the title of the chair, the description, the CTA, the image, the price, the brand, and all these elements. I can actually use that in my design. So what I can do is say apply feed, and you can see that all of my design that was generated with AI is now connected to dynamic data. I can see here that each layer, I can do the mapping. So I can see the headline layer here is connected to the title column in the CSV. I can change that, and then I can also connect it. Once I do that, automatically in the editor, notice that now we're going into this variant and row mode where I can scroll through my catalog. How amazing is that? And then what you can also do is you could decide that you want to connect some elements of your design to a variable. For instance, if I wanted the background to be connected to the background property in my CSV, I could just bind that property with this variable, and now all of my designs have a dynamic color. I can go to preview, and when I do that, I can now preview all of my designs. They're all connected dynamically. That means that if my design inventory team makes changes to the name, to the copy, the marketing team changes anything, even if they replace the asset, I can automatically just re-export everything without having to touch really the design individually and manually. It can be done automatically. Now, this is really, really powerful, and I hope and I think you're gonna love that feature. One other thing I wanted to show you is what you can do with these models to bring static images to life, and how you can also compose designs and ads using AI and the latest models. So here I have a template that I have opened. I have started customizing it. I have my logo. I have some text. I'm going to change it to summer collection. And what I want to do is I want to create an ad for my brand here, the Daemon, and I have some things. I have a chair. I'm going to bring that chair here on the scene. And what I want to do is I want to create an environment that do some product photography to transform this chair into something a little bit more exciting. This is here a simple catalog image that came from the production team or the photo team. I can go to AI image. I'm going to go to product photography, and I can say, put this chair on a Mediterranean terrace. I'm going to enhance the prompt. Automatically, the asset that you have on the scene is being passed to here, the model. Here we selected Gemini 2.5 Flash, and we're enhancing the prompt. It understands that this is a red chair, and it's enhancing the prompt to make my image, the result, look better. It's always a good idea to enhance your prompt. We're not charging any credits for you to enhance your prompt because it's just part of, how the product should work. We should do our best to give you the best prompt so that you can generate the images. Okay, let's see what this comes back with. Look at that. I am going to take this one. We're going to scale it. And now that I have my image here, I can do this. And I have something that looks pretty great. Look at the quality of the image it preserved, because Gemini 2.5 Flash and also Black Forest Flux Context do a really good job at preserving the consistency. One of the things that's been really hard with the AI is preserving the consistency of your products. The models now are really, really good at this. So you can see it hasn't invented a new chair. It hasn't affected the chair. This is our chair, but now in the environment that we want. So let's say I want to have more of the natural scene with the flowers and things. I can preview that. Let's look at what this looks like as a story. Okay, you can see that my logo is actually a little bit too much in overlapping with the icon of the brand. So now this is looking good. I can preview that. I like the animation. I am going to add a little bit of color. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to take the color here and maybe change that to white. Okay, I like this. Let's reduce that a little bit and let's move it here. Now, what I like to do is I like to make changes to that image. Let's say I want to add some things in the back. I want to add some boats. What I could do, I could come here and say, add some boats in the sea in the back. I'm going to say some small boats. Let's enhance the prompt. Let's generate and let's have fun. Okay, so now it's coming back with my image edited and it has added the boats. I like this one, I like that. So you can see, you can start making the changes really at the speed of thought. You don't have to really go back to Photoshop. You can just make these changes here natively inside the editor. What I can do is I can also bring this to life. So what I could do, for instance, is I could go to image to video and I could add a prompt to make this scene move. For instance, I could say, you know, add a little bit of life to this scene. And if I enhance the prompt, here we're using Google Veo 3 to bring this scene to life. If I see what it came back with, it's for instance suggesting a gentle breeze rustling the leaves of the potted plants. So what I'm gonna do here is generate that and see what this comes back with. I have two aspect ratios, 16:9, 9:16. We're using Google Veo 3. Maximum duration is gonna be 8 seconds. That's a hard limitation right now from Google's model, but this is plenty for a story. So let's generate that. In the meantime, let me show you another example that I generated. You see here the animation of the leaves with the little bougainvillea, and then the reflection here, the shadows. This is really adding a little bit of life, and this is making the animation look very natural. Very quickly I was able to generate something that looks stunning. So now let's look at the video that it has generated. I'm gonna go back to image to video and I can see here the video that this generated. This is actually scaled up here. So I'm going to do this and scale it down and preview our little animation. Okay, now let's zoom a little bit and let's look at it. See how it added a little bit of life? This is really, really nice. The camera is not moving. There's a little bit of motion. We can see that the shadow here is really, really well done. It feels natural, not too much motion. I really like this vibe. This is really, really cool. Now you can see some other examples here that I've generated. Here is another example with the same vibe. Different image as a starting point with this little bougainvillea, even more, I'd say, compelling scene. And let's play that. And you can see here also as well that it has added a little bit of life. I really like to use a little bit of motion, especially with AI, because there can be some hallucinations sometimes when you do very drastic changes, but it works really, really amazingly well, especially for marketers, for us, to, just like what you would do with cinemagraphs, where, it adds a little bit of motion as a loop. You can use image to video to really create different variants with different motion, and it works really, really, really well. Okay, so now let's switch gears and talk about custom styles. One of the things that's really hard with AI is to create, when you use AI like out-of-the-box models, image models, is to create images that fit a particular style. So here, just to illustrate this, I'm back into Moodboard to talk to you about branded assets with this feature that we have in the brand kit called custom image style. So here, if you go here, you can see, let's imagine that you have a brand that's using these assets for communication. There's lots of brands that have strong, brand, and all of their communication might be using specific characters, specific colors, specific elements that are always the same on the same style. So here, let's imagine we have these elements coming from the brand team. If you wanted to generate designs and you wanted to generate a new asset with a crocodile on a scooter, you would need to get the brand team and the design team to create that. Now, when you need to create 10, 15, 20, hundreds of variations for tests or different geographies, different regions, sometimes it can become really hard for the brand team to keep up. So how do we actually help the brand team and also the performance team? So here's an example of if you were to put a prompt, such as a crocodile on a scooter with different models. This is GPT image 1, this is Midjourney, this is here, I think, Flux. And of course, you can use reference images to get to a specific style. You might actually get close, but there will be some hallucination, there will be some inconsistencies that make it hard for you to use really in production. So that's why we've built the custom image model feature inside BrandKit. What you do is that you're going to upload your branded assets inside the custom image model in BrandKit, and you're going to be able to then generate assets. Here's an example of here a crocodile on a scooter after I've created a custom image model. And you can see here how it's integrated into different designs, where what we've done is we've generated here with the text to image different images using that custom model, and you're able to, with a single prompt, generate endless variations of an asset fitting a particular brand. So let's look at how this works. I'm back in the editor, and if I go to brand and I go to the brand kit, I have Kidly brand kit, and you can see that here in my environment, if I go to my brand kit Kidly, if I go to the custom image model, I have the assets that were used for training. You can upload assets here. Here my model has been trained. In your case, if you come here and it hasn't been trained, you're going to see a model that says that you need to train the model. You will upload images. We ask for 10 high quality images coming from your brand team or other source, and you will train your model. It will take 60 to 90 minutes, sometimes up to 2 hours max to train the model. Once the model is trained, you can go back to your projects, and I'm going to switch back to here. And here you can see I have my project with all the different sizes like I showed in the past using the resize feature. This is great. What I'd like to do is I'd like to, for instance, change this asset and generate new kinds. If you go to insert and you go to media, you're going to be able to go to text to image or text to video or image to video. So text to video, we will cover that in a second. I want to show you text to image. Text to image here allows you to specify to pick a general style. You would have the same problem as what I showed before if you pick general style. Let's say you say a little blue character opening the door to illustrate curiosity. I'm going to enhance this prompt, and let's generate some images. I'm going to specify digital art to, get to potentially something close as that. That seems like the closest. And when you do that, you see that this is not really the type of style that my brand has. This is cute, but this is not the style of the brand. I want something probably like more flat, something that could actually be exported as vectors. So this is not going to work for me. If I go to brand style, you notice here it has detected that I trained the model. It will show a little thumbnail showing an image coming from the assets. And if I use the exact same prompt, you're going to see that this is going to generate things that look exactly like the style that I want. And here you can see that these images are much better, and this is what I could be using, right? This is exactly the type of style that I'm looking for. Now, when I'm here, I can use remove background, and I'm ready to go. This element can be replaced. Now you can see here that I picked a color that, the background is not ideal. So I could go here and change the background color and pick something that's a little bit different to help with the contrast. But I have something that's awesome and ready to be used and replaced. I'm able to generate assets at the speed of thought, once again, without bothering my brand team, but also making my brand team proud because I'm able to create variations fitting the brand, honoring the brand, and really having the best of both worlds: consistency, quality, and speed. So now let's look at video generation. One of the things you can do also with the brief, if we go back here, we talked about generating ads, we talked about generating product photography. You can also generate AI videos in UGC videos. So let's cover these two. If I go to AI video, I can come here and I can put my prompt. It will detect automatically my intent and specify and ask me for the ratio, 16:9 or story format, and the resolution, and if I want audio or not. Behind the scenes, we're using Google VO3 that allows you to also generate audio based on your recommendation in the prompt. What we do is also at the bottom, you can see here, we give you some samples. So you can just click on AI video and we will generate something for you. So here, generate a 16:9 and 1080p video of a woman on a summer hike. If I press generate, then it's going to generate something. I just did it and you can see here the result. This is incredible. I'm able to provide a prompt. Here I said that I wanted a woman on a summer hike viewed from the back, captured from a high drone view. If I am a travel agency or a sports brand or any kind of brand that would want to use images or videos like that, instead of looking for a stock video and really making compromise, because often with stock images or videos, you have to make a compromise, plus the cost is often much higher. Here you can just express what you want and create it. Now, once you've done that, you can save it to your brand kit. As always, because it's saved into your brand kit, you can bring it into the editor, and here in the editor, you can turn it into a design. So here I took a template, I added a logo. Here, this is a fake brand, and you can see the type of video that I could create and type of ad. Here I asked for something more like on the coast. Let's say I wanted to do a series for promoting like trips in the desert. I could do that, and the list goes on. Again, the possibilities are endless into what you can create. All right, so now let's look at UGC. This is the last type that we're gonna cover here. If I go to media type, we've talked about ad, product photography, AI video just a second ago, and now UGC. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to select UGC video. When you do that, we ask you for the style of the caption. What makes UGC video really what they are is that they are video clips that have automated captions, and often these videos are recorded with a classic phone to be a little bit more kind of like, you know, homemade and more authentic. So I'm going to select subtitle, title 3 here. I like the style. I'm going to import my clips. I have uploaded in my brand kit a few videos. So I'm going to take this one that was recorded with a phone, and I'm going to select this and say create a UGC video from this. All right, now the agent is going to take this asset, listen to the video, take the audio, from the audio, transform the audio to text, then put the text into captions into the project, overlay that on top of our video layer, and then allow us to export that.
Wonder what is the best gift?
Editor.
It's love, a little attention, and things that makes her feel special.
So see, this is something I can directly play within the agent. I can download it, or I can make some tweaks. Why would you want to make some tweaks? Well, sometimes there might be a brand name or a first name or something that the algorithm didn't do a good job at translating, going from the audio to the text. What's great is that this text is fully editable. So if there was a mistake, a typo, you could come here and actually make the change. You can also preview it.
Wonder what is the best gift? It's love, a little attention, and things that makes her feel special.
All right, so this is what I wanted to show you with UGC video. We're going to be adding more things such as localization and other things in the future, potentially such as synthetic voices if you wanted to use a different voice. There's a lot of things we're going to do there. We can't wait for your feedback on what we need to add. All right, so now that we have covered a lot in Create, we're going to be looking at exporting. And how do you go from your assets to actually exporting them to different networks? What you can do, what are the capabilities, the different file formats, and then after that, we'll be spending time into optimize. Okay, so now let's look at how do we launch these things.